What's going on, everyone? The NBA draft is on Thursday, the 22nd of June, and between now and then, it's going to be a wild ride. It's going to be quite the roller coaster for the Los Angeles Lakers. The Lakers, based on reports, are unlikely to get a Damian Lillard, a Bradley Beal, a Kyrie Irving, something along those lines, which does make a lot of sense, all for different reasons. But nonetheless, I wouldn't rule out the possibility of the Lakers getting a star, but more of like the DeMar DeRozan type, because that would still give the Lakers a lot of flexibility. The Lakers could actually trade for DeMar DeRozan and still keep their mid-level exception and all kinds of stuff. So, that is all very big, but we'll see. We'll see how that develops. The one thing we do know is the Lakers are currently shopping the 17th pick, Malik Beasley and Mo Bamba, and kind of still on the fence on what they're going to do with D'Angelo Russell. All of those things are very important, very significant, because those are all pieces that could yield a star or other players, other options. Now, if anything is going to happen, it's very likely going to be on draft day. Draft day is when the Lakers can trade that 17th pick. Essentially, they have to draft for somebody else. So let's say Chicago, right? Let's say Chicago, because they are shopping Zach LaVine right now. Let's say they do find a deal for Zach LaVine. The next best thing would to move off of DeMar DeRozan. Lakers make a lot of sense. We'll just use that as an example here. So the Lakers, they have a deal locked up. Chicago says, take this player for us, and there you go. And then we'll trade you DeMar DeRozan. And then once it's finalized, then the pick gets traded to the Chicago Bulls. But the Lakers would have to draft that guy first. And then they could also trade the 2029 pick, all of that stuff, right? So the Lakers have some flexibility in that department. They also have Malik Beasley and Mo Bamba, which gets you to $30 million in salary that you could trade. You also have Shaquille Harrison that you could just throw on as an add-on to get you to 32, 33 million, something along those lines if you needed to. And then, of course, D'Angelo Russell, you could always work out some type of deal. You can, work out a sign and trade. The first year would have to be guaranteed, but beyond that, it doesn't. So there's flexibility there. But at the end of the day, look, I've talked about this before. I trust Rob Pelinka. He has shown just brilliance and patience when it comes to that GM position. We're going to have this roller coaster ride, and we will cover a lot of it. We will have our conversations and, dive into some stuff, but we will see what the end result is. Because at the end of the day, Rob Pelinka, I believe, will put the Lakers in the best position possible. Yes, has he had some misses? Yes, has he had some hiccups? Of course, all GMs do. But he's done a great job of fixing those mistakes and turning things around, right? Even then, we put a championship roster together. We win the chip. The next year, he makes upgrades. We very likely go back-to-back if Anthony Davis doesn't get hurt. Fortunately, Anthony Davis did. Then LeBron James and AD were like, hey, we want Russell Westbrook. And, you had Rob Pelinka who was like, well, I have Buddy Hield and DeMar DeRozan and, I have other options that I'm working on right now. The Buddy Hield trade was done. DeMar DeRozan himself said he thought he was already going to the Lakers. All of that. And then, no, LeBron James and Anthony Davis, they wanted Russell Westbrook. So when your two stars that just won you a championship ask for something, you go, okay, fine, let's make it happen. And they did, and it was a disaster, and it didn't work out. But Rob Pelinka immediately corrected that, and the Lakers were just in the Western Conference Finals. And Rob Pelinka was patient, even with all the fans, the media, everything, people calling for his head and his job, and this, that, and the other. He stayed calm, he stayed cool, he stayed collected, and he turned water into wine. And he deserves applaud for that. So I trust this man to do the job that is whatever that direction goes. And I trust and believe whatever the end result is will be in the best interest for the Lakers and will be something that makes sense, right? Even if the Lakers don't make a trade, even if they stand pat, that doesn't mean that they can't continue to make a trade. That doesn't mean that something can't happen. And even at the trade deadline, something could happen. The Lakers are going to have a lot of just chaos, period. Because even if they don't make a trade, you still have free agency, right? You still have potential for guys like Chris Paul. He's looking more and more likely like he's coming to the Lakers. Does somebody else get bought out and waived, and maybe the Lakers could pick that up. Again, this new CBA is going to make things very interesting because you're going to have a lot of teams that are gearing up and kind of adjusting and making changes to fit in line and fall in line with that new CBA and all the implications with that. You're going to see a lot of guys that were going to get paid that are no longer going to get paid, at least to the level that they would have otherwise. Hopefully the Lakers can work things out to where they don't have to pay Austin Reeves a ton of money. They don't have to pay Rui Hachimura a ton of money. I don't imagine them getting some insane offers with this new CBA. I think given the circumstances and the scenario in which the Lakers are in right now, this CBA kind of worked out for them because it may give them the leverage to not have to give Rui and Reeves a ridiculous amount of money. I think the CBA, personally, I think this is something you're really going to see. It's going to essentially eliminate the middle class as far as players go, like player contracts. Because what's going to happen is those like $18 to like $22 million contracts are basically going to be non-existent. Maybe even like the $25 million are basically going to be non-existent because either you're a $30 million a year guy or you're a $10 million a year guy. That's probably how it's going to go thanks to the new CBA. And so the Lakers very likely could get a couple gems in free agency that we may have not have been able to get otherwise, right? Think of somebody like maybe like a Brook Lopez or like a Naz Reid or something like that, right? Like that would be pretty awesome if the Lakers could get that for, a taxpayer mid-level, right? Like if you can get that, that would be huge, especially if, let's say, a guy like Brook Lopez, right? What's his market at this point with his age and things like that? Yes, he can make more money with the Milwaukee Bucks, but what's his market beyond that, right? And does Milwaukee want to bring him back, or do they want to look to retool and kind of revamp that roster a little bit? Chris Middleton's going to be free agent, stuff like that. So, if Brook Lopez's sort of, contract offers are in the $10 million range, would he go to the Lakers for $6 million rather than the $10 million, to be able to contend for championships and maybe play a starting role and stuff like that? Again, I'm not saying that will happen, but don't be shocked if teams that are going for it are going to get pieces and assets that are cheaper than they would have gotten otherwise, because the CBA is going to have that implication. So Rob Pelinka, he's going to have his work cut out for him. This is going to be a wild summer because we have this window that is open. It's clearly open. And you need to capitalize on that window. And I think that to a degree, you don't want to get crazy, but to a degree, I think the Lakers should kind of push their chips to the table and go all in. I know a lot of people want the Lakers to draft somebody at 17 and, go get young guys and stuff like that. But the Lakers have shown we're right there. And when you're right there, you make the push to go and try to win a championship. The reason the Lakers have 17 titles is because of that. Because they don't stand pat. They go and they do what they can to put themselves in a position to win. And getting a guy that's going to take 3 or 4 years to develop is not going to help the window right now with LeBron James and Anthony Davis. If you can turn that guy into a guy that can help you win right now with LeBron James and Anthony Davis, you go do that. So again, even some trades. There's going to be trades, not necessarily saying for the Lakers, but there are going to be trades that teams are going to get, period, that they may not have gotten otherwise because of this new CBA. This new CBA, I'm telling you, is going to change a lot. But a team like the Lakers, you can go all in because if you have your team already intact, who cares, right? It's what I've talked about with like a potential Bradley Beal trade. If you trade for Bradley Beal, you still can keep all of your depth. You still keep Jared Vanderbilt, Rui Hachimura, Austin Reeves, all that stuff. You could still go get a Chris Paul. You could still do all those things. And yes, you're at that point, you're essentially hard capped, but who cares? Because you already have your roster for this year and very likely the next several years. So why do you care about that? That's for teams that need to upgrade, like a team like the Clippers that haven't won anything, right? And they need to make some changes. Well, now they can't. Or a team like the Warriors, like now they can't. Like that's what it's supposed to do. But a team like the Lakers that were just put together that have this 2-3 year window, they're not really worried about that. It's a different game, it's a different field, all of that stuff. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? What do you think the Lakers should do? Are you excited? Do you trust Rob? Do you think that he'll continue to remain patient? How do you feel? Whatever your thoughts are, I'd love to hear it. Let me know down in the comments.